Welcome. My name is Sabine Taylor. Thank you for giving me your time on this Sunday. And today's date is May 17th, 2026. And 2 days ago, I recorded my first video using StreamYard, and I went into some detail about myself, about my credentials, and I also posted my LinkedIn so that way you can learn a little bit more about me. I do feel that when you're getting advice on the internet, when it's sales related, it would be nice to know about the person's background. So if you want to go check that video out, it's about 20 minutes and it was recorded on Friday, the 15th of May, 2026. With that being said, today I want to take some time to talk to you about this challenge that is often posed to a lot of sales representatives during trainings, during interviews. And that challenge question is, sell me this pencil. Sometimes it could be, sell me this pen. And that is assuming that as soon as you meet your customer, you're going to go straight into selling a pencil without even building a rapport with them. And that is the wrong way. So first, let's talk about the wrong way. Again, as soon as you meet the customer, you're going to show them the pencil, list the features, tell them the price, and oftentimes you may get rejected because really that is not the process of sales. And depending on where you're selling this pencil, the process could look totally different. So the process to sell a pencil in Staples is very different than the process used to sell a pencil in an educational institution. The process would look very different if you're trying to sell this pencil into a hospital institution, because there's a lot of paperwork and the processes look very different. So when someone asks the question or poses the question, sell me this pencil, really what they should say is, how would you go about selling this pencil? Because you need to understand who your customer is. So let's go to the next slide, okay? So you need to understand who your customers is. But let's say you are selling into a small to medium business, and that is short for SMBs, right? So you can be selling into, let's say, a a franchise of after school centers, okay? Maybe they're 50-person operation, okay? You can use what is called the consultative sales process. And in this consultative sales process, there are about 5 steps. And again, is if you are selling into a school, this is not the process you would use. You would use another process, and that's like medic. And if you were selling into a hospital, that's called med pick, okay? That's just a lot of paperwork. And for the time being, I'm going to focus on the part that I know, which is consultative sales process, because I'm certified in that, all right? But I just wanted to put it out there. When someone asks you, sell me this pen, you really need to push back a little bit and say, well, can you tell me a little bit about the customer? Who am I selling this to? Am I at a retail location, or is this a government institution? Is this a hospital? You need to know those things. And that would impress the other person who's interviewing you, because they're like, okay, he or she is asking the right questions. Okay. A lot of sales deals go awry because someone skipped a step and they didn't ask the right question. So let's just look at this, the stage of the consultative sales process. The first step is to build rapport. So when you're meeting your customer, you want to find some commonality. You want to ask them, like, how is their day? Or maybe if you're in the office and you see like a picture of their family and maybe it's their son playing sports, you could talk a little bit about that. You want to connect with them. You want to set the stage for the next steps, okay? But before you start asking questions, you need to try to get a connection with your customer, okay? And once you got that connection, you're going to go to phase 2, which is discovery. You're going to put on your Sherlock Holmes hat, right? And you're going to have your pen and paper, or maybe you have your iPad, and you're going to take questions. take note of their responses. So you may ask them, well, tell me more about your pencils. Like, how many do you need, and what type of pencils do you need? Do you need color pencils, or you just need like a lead pen, a black pencil? So tell me more. What this does, it lets the customer know that you're taking notes, you're actively listening, okay? And then what that helps you do when you take notes is you are going to start to see some patterns emerge. Maybe they're describing their pain points. Maybe they say, just bought some pencils, but the erasers keep falling off. Okay, so that's a pain point because they, it's nice to have an eraser when you make an error. All right. So you uncover their needs, and that's step 3. When you uncover their needs, their pain point, then in step 4, you can present a solution. And this is the part where you're going to pitch what are the features that make your particular brand of pencil the best pencil that this customer should get. That's where you talk about, well, the erasers never break here because of our patented technology. Okay, and if you have an issue with our eraser, we have a 1-year guarantee, so that will preserve your investment instead of you having to buy a whole new set of pencils. Okay, that's when you start linking the product to their pain point, to their buying motivations. So you see where I'm going with this, and then you can close. But let's go back to slide 1. Just to be challenged with this question, sell me this pen. Okay? And then you just go straight into selling it. You're not showing the person who's interviewing you your ability to connect, your ability to ask those open-ended questions or dive deeper, your ability to uncover their need. You're not able to show your interviewer or whoever is facilitating that training that you're attending, where they're posing this challenge, how you can pitch a product. All right. And then show them how you can overcome objections, if they come out. So I just wanted to show you this. Depending on who you're calling on, the process will look different, okay? It could be more involved. And I'll go on to say that in my prior job, I used to do a lot of sourcing of vendors, and I had to walk them through what is called medic process, all right? Where there was a lot of legal involved because they had to sign contracts, and oftentimes the vendor is thinking, okay, you're the stakeholder, meaning you're the one who's going to be using our products and services, and we're going to be working with you a lot. So can you sign this contract? And the lawyer is like, you can never sign the contract, okay? We have to take a look at it, and then it's a process of their lawyers amending the contract, and I'm sending it back to the vendor, and that vendor is sending it back to their lawyer, and it's a whole back and forth. Sometimes you will work in organizations where they want to know, what is your data privacy, okay? They want to know your financial status. They'll look you up. They'll look up your Dun & Bradstreet number. So sometimes the sale is slowed down because of all of these processes that you have to go through. All right. So with that being said, I just want to pause for today, not to give you too much, but I wanted to whet your appetite for sales process. Okay, there are even frameworks within each of these processes. I mean, within this method. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this training. I hope that you'll connect with me again, and if you want to email me, you can. That's sellingwithsabine@gmail.com. I really would love to learn more about your training needs. And with that said, I've trained a lot of salespeople across many different organizations, complex, heavily matrix organizations. So I would say, let's connect, let's talk about it, and Have an awesome day. And thank you for watching. And lastly, I would say if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Click on that notification bell. Tell your friends and family, especially those who have who have a business and need help with selling. Okay, they need help maybe pitching. They need help understanding what's the sales process that they should be using. So see you next time. Bye-bye.
If you wanna up your game and find your skills, the show's gonna give you all the sales skills. From Lagos to Accra, chatting new terrain, didn't net buyers in the sales domain. Watch us elevate the game. Negotiating deals with finesse and flair, selling with Sabine with the perfect pair. Strategies revealed in the market square. Sales wisdom flows, nothing can compare. Closing deals with ease, success we declare. Selling with Sabine helps us to close deals with ease. With ease, success we declare. Selling with Sabine helps us to close deals with ease. With ease. Oh.